Now, it's been a while since I've posted a video. We've been busy with the bike, and we've basically been trying to get it to work properly after a few problems we had earlier in the year. Ready for our Spa 6-hour endurance race, which I'm just about to set off on. So we've done track days at Brands Hatch and Snetterton. The bike's gone well. We had a race meeting with the MRO power bikes at Brands GP, which is fantastic. 3 solid top 10 places, which I'm really happy with. Didn't get much in the way of footage, unfortunately. It's always difficult to shoot when I'm riding myself. So what I'm going to do this time for this video, the team are all going to take little video clips along the way, like you know, when there's a disposable camera at a wedding and everyone just takes little happy snaps. So who knows what we'll see there. Anyway, I'm going to set off from my house here in Stamford, meet Bob. Bob's loaded the van. It's a bit more difficult now. Everything in the van's got to be listed for a carnet. The same with Ben, and we've got a proper team. So Ben and I are riders. Bob's looking after me. Andy Croucher is looking after Ben. Paul Cooper is overseeing everything as kind of a crew chief. He's got a lot of experience with BMWs and endurance racing. We've got Madge and Stacey on the pit wall, who are actually, when my brother and me raced for Keith Flint, they were on the pit wall, a fantastic couple, and really good fun as well. And then we've got Alison Silcox as our team manager. So we got a nice little posse on our way to Spa. So I'm going to set off now and get myself down to see Bob down south. I've got my car loaded up with bits and bobs, including some spare fairings and stuff from one of my old S1000s for Ben's bike. Ben's on a 2010 S1000, I'm on my Generation 4. And I think the weather's looking really, really good. So I think we're all sorted. I'll explain what's going on as we go through, and hopefully we'll have a really good weekend. So I've got the van, all packed, sleeping bag, airbed, food, motorbike. Just bought a skid mark screen, actually a TT screen, some long straights at Spa, so we'll be able to get tucked right in there. We've got new SBS dual Sinter brakes, fantastic. We've got tyres. We're running SC2 fronts and SC3 rears in there somewhere, which is really hot. I mean, you'd run quite soft tyres with Pirellis in the heat, but we don't want to throw tyres at the bike in between sessions. The bike looks fantastic as ever. And also, we've got to go through as freight. And look at this. Carnet. Never had to do this before. Brexit. So that's a lot easier, isn't it? Ben's coming in a minute, going to help him pack. And then in the morning, we're going to get an early crossing. And so our adventure begins with Sandwich in Kent, about to pick up Andy Croucher. How's it going?
Really?
Par mesure de sécurité, nous vous prions d'ouvrir vos trappes d'aération et toits ouvrants.
A little bit of extra faff getting on Channel Tunnel with the carnet. Got to go to the services just up the road from the Channel Tunnel called Stop 24. There's a little customs kiosk in there. They check all your paperwork, process it. You've got to get a little ticket, and then you've got to get it checked somewhere. Still not sure yet. We're actually, I think, once we get French side. Right, that's the carnet sorted. It's a bit of a pain in the butt, but I've got to say, everyone involved, organisation-wise, in France and England, been very kind and very helpful, despite what you see on the news.
Is the junction there already? I think it's about it too much, my experience.
Ten to 9, Thursday evening. We finally made it to one of the best racetracks in the world. Garage 14. Paid a bit extra to get this garage to ourselves. It's a bit big, but can't have too much room. $33.
Pourquoi il faut?
What are you doing, Andy? Has Ben broke it already?
Totally.
Ben's just blown the baffle out of his exhaust and he hasn't even done a lap yet.
Come on, Mick, you're slacking.
Midway through Friday practice, red hot, can't complain about that. And Spa is just incredible. Not easy to go fast on. You need to build up to it, let it come to you, because there's some real quick bits that are blind. But everything's going well. Junior is learning his way around. He hasn't been here before. just nice to be around a really good group of people. One of the best racetracks in the world, and riding a very fast motorbike. Don't get much better than that. So yeah, got another couple of sessions today, and then we'll see what tomorrow brings. These tyres have worn well. They've done all day at Spa and 14 laps of Snetterton SC1s. They like the heat. Front is well worn. Some fast corners here. So again, all day here, and then a race at Brands GP. So very impressive.
I want you to look at that tomorrow.
Spa is something very, very special. It's one of the greatest tracks in the world, in my opinion. It's there with Phillip Island, Mugello, Brands GP, all the interesting tracks that sort of go through fantastic scenery, really, mountains, and we've got the Ardennes forest here. We've been really lucky with the weather, but the track to ride takes some doing. Because it's such a fast track, you can't go fast straight away. You kind of got to let it come to you, really, and kind of, you know, not override it, because I think if you come off here you'd really know about it. But it's just glorious. I mean, the best bits of the track, the Source hairpin, it's a not a very special corner, more like Mallory hairpin, but because of the history of it and where it is amazing. Then you've got the dash down to Eau Rouge, where you're flat out in fifth gear. You've got the old pit wall almost brushing your right shoulder, and you turn in, you go through the compression up and over the hill, and it takes you onto a really fast back straight, which when you ride it just looks like a straight. But we went out on the push bikes last night, and it's actually quite a steep hill as the track climbs. And then you go for a nice little chicane, and then from there you're at the highest point of the track, and then it all starts to weave downhill. It's fantastic. There's a new bit of the track, a new left, which is a little bit gnarly. There's a sharp apex on a real steep downhill, and you're worried about losing the front. And then you surge down the hill in fourth gear around a long double left, and then you get to some piff paths, and then you get to the bottom of the circuit. There's a tight right, which kind of reminds me a little bit of Redgate, and then the track just starts opening out. You're throwing gears at it, fourth gear, fifth gear, and then you approach the amazing Blanchimont section. So Blanchimont's basically a flat out fifth gear corner. It might even be sixth gear when I get up to speed, but either way it takes your breath away. Then it's back a gear for the second part of Blanchimont, and then a dash to the bus stop chicane, which is pretty Mickey Mouse, really. It's a shame, it ruins the flow of the track. It's not too physical, the track. There's not a lot of hard braking zones. It's all fast corners, but it takes a lot of concentration. You're threading the needle because it's so fast. You don't want to make any mistakes. It's amazing to ride. The time goes really fast. We've got our endurance race tomorrow, and when I've done one here before in 2019, you're not clock watching. Your time's up before you know it, because it's such an interesting track, and you can't actually squeeze that many laps into a session because the track's so long, 4 odd miles. So I'm really looking forward to riding it in anger.
Yeah, but you can still watch that down.
Gaffer tag.
I've got one. I need a couple of AA cell batteries. We could bring them.
The limiter, right beside it, see what regs is out first.
Really good idea. Stay there.
really well in the race.
Saturday lunchtime. We've had a good day yesterday and Friday, and then this morning we've had a couple of sessions, not very long sessions. I'm in a group. They dropped me down a group because they set this is the Bikers Days, track days, which is really, really well organised. It's all on a transponder. And yesterday morning, your lap times count towards your next group. And because I wasn't quite up to speed in the few laps we had, I dropped down a group. And then it's hard to set a good lap time after that because you get held up. But anyway, it's all track time, doesn't matter what group you're in. So the bike's going really well. The tyres have lasted fantastically that we've used so far, SC1s in this heat, 52 degree track temperature. I'm going to stop riding now for the day. This afternoon we've got admin to do, we've got scrutineering, we've got to do some practice changeovers. Ben's been learning the track, getting faster every time. He's had no issues, which is really good. So now we're going to get prepared for the parade. It's baking hot, if you can see behind me. We've had to make a canopy for Madge and Stacey on the pit wall because they're going to get absolutely roasted for 6 hours tomorrow. So it's endurance race. It's only 6 hours, not the longest endurance race in the world, but it's still a tough challenge. I suppose if you've done a 24-hour, it's a piece of cake, like a lot of riders here at this event have. I think they were here in June. But for us, it's quite a big thing. And really, this is when racing's good. It's a nice team atmosphere. It's better than sprint racing in that respect. The paddock's kind of alive. You always get this European paddocks. In the evenings, everyone lays out their picnic tables. There's lots of music, quite a lot of dodgy music. Not the greatest, but it's still a good atmosphere. So I'm going to get ready. Next is the parade tonight. So we've ridden down to Spa Town where they're having a big festival to celebrate the endurance race, and it's crazy. Let me show you. People everywhere, bikes everywhere. The Belgians know how to celebrate a motorcycle race. Better than sitting watching the telly, isn't it? Just sitting here watching.
Go right.
Must be.
Well, what a beautiful day for a race. We prep now. All that's left to do is we've got qualifying at 9 o'clock. Ben's going to go out first, and then he's going to do a full session just to check the fuel consumption. And we'll do a proper changeover. Then I'll do a session to qualify and check fuel consumption, and then races at 12 o'clock. Nervous now. We had a briefing last night, and when they kind of spell it all out in black and white, what you've got to do, you know, what the consequences are, makes your stomach go blah, blah, blah. But what a treat to just be able to ride this track for hours on end on an amazing bike, sticky tyres.
Dans la ville de Spa hier sur le coup de 18h, 18h15, et ça a permis naturellement un nombreux public.
It only takes like 2 minutes to do it.
So our 6-hour race went without a hitch. It was absolutely perfect. The bike ran faultlessly. The Maggies on the pit wall, done every single signal. They worked out a strategy when we had safety cars. They were absolutely brilliant.
That's exactly what I wanted.
Andy and Bob on the spanners all the way through, changing wheels with fireproof suits on all the way through 9 hours in absolutely excruciating heat. They would have probably lost a couple of stone throughout the course of the day. So massive big up to them. Paul Cooper, our crew chief, who was looking after everything and overseeing everything. Alison Silcox, who was our team manager, looking after us all. And we even had Mike Edwards, Spike, in helping us. He'd been on the track on Friday and Saturday with a client, instructing them, but he stayed on the Sunday to help Ben and I. He was cleaning our visors, giving us wet towels, giving us advice. What a superstar that guy is with what he's done to help us.
There he is.
Well done, fella. Nice one. No worries. Well done, Sonny boy. Yeah, well done. That's fucking good, mate.
So we finished 19th overall out of about 45 teams and 12th in class, the amateur thousands, which we're pretty happy with. Always like to do better, wouldn't we? Ben rode really well. We were just churning out fast laps, which was really good. It was really tiring. Probably needed 3 riders in the end, but it's a bit hard saying it's tiring when, you know, it's only 6 hours. You know, I don't know how the 24-hour endurance riders do it. After the 3rd session, my tank was empty, but I managed to get second wind. But it's quite physical. Through Eau Rouge, trying to muscle the bike from side to side, it takes a lot of effort. The hard braking zones at the source and the bus stop takes a lot of effort, takes a lot out of you each time. And then the mental side of it, threading the needle down the hill to the source when you've got the pit wall right on your right hand side, you're threading the needle through there flat out in 5th gear, and the same through Blanchimont. You know, it's the approach to Blanchimont's flat in 6th on my bike, bouncing against the limiter, then you tip it in and kind of hope for the best. There's never a dull moment at Spa. But there are parts of Spa which are just beautiful, just glides. I mean, riding the track's the highlight for me, and on that bike it's amazing. From the highest point of the track where you start winding down the hill, it's actually relatively easy on your body. It's just a question of keeping up momentum, and because it's all downhill, you can kind of use high gears. You don't need to be throwing gears at it all the time, so that makes it easy. But that bike is superb now. And it actually makes every other bike I ride now feel a little bit rubbish, because the brakes are on point, the suspension's fantastic, the way it steers, the way it handles, the stability, the power, the electronics, just everything. It's such a beautiful bike to ride. And, you know, I was lucky enough to ride it for half an endurance race. We did 130 laps. So I rode it for at least 65 laps, 4.5 miles per lap. The lap time was, I qualified on a 2:33, Ben qualified on a 2:38. I think we both could have gone faster if we'd have qualified again, because during the course of the race you kind of learn your way around. So we were close to our qualifying times, even on old tyres when they were wearing out. So that was interesting. Talking of tyres, the SC3 rears were a really good choice. We went through 3 of them during the course of the race each. Probably could have got away with changing them less times. And we did 2 SC2 fronts. And again, we could have just kept running on them. They did lose their bite towards the end, so the lap times dropped when the tyres were warm, but they were brilliant. A lot of teams are throwing tyres at their bikes every session, so but we weren't. With hindsight, because it was so hot, we could have used softer tyres, but you know, you're not to know that at Spa. It's very unusual that it was so hot. But endurance racing is just incredible. You know, it's a team game. Every member of the team is important, and without every member of the team doing a fantastic job, you're not going to get anywhere. It's more than just the riders, unlike sprint racing, which is quite selfish. You know, to be around such an incredible team, to be with my brother, to be with my friends who came along to race as well, and all the support they give me and other people give me along the way, it's just, you know, it's a blessing to be able to do that. It was just an amazing event, and something that will stick with me for a long time. Whether we do it again is up in the air. We're only really planned to do a few races and the endurance race this year, so we've done what we set out to do in 2022. Bike's fantastic, still in one piece, so that's good. What we do next year, I don't know. Who knows? I'm still going faster than I've ever gone before, which is strange. The nerves get to me now, though, I must admit, more than they did when I was younger. But I don't know. Who knows what will happen in the future? But for now, you know, Spa, that's done. That's another box ticked. It was just a dream ride and just a fantastic experience. I'm still processing it now, still taking it in. I just want to go there on my bike again now. I wish I could be transported there now. But it's a big undertaking to organise an endurance race. costs a lot of money, needs a lot of people's help and support. So, you know, just doing that apart from riding a bike's a big deal as well. So, but we did it, and that's what makes it so rewarding. And who knows what's going to happen in the future. But for now, I'm going to bask in the glory that is Spa 6 hours. Thanks for watching. See ya.
Well done, Bob. Well done.